Oops, hold on. It's going to the cloud.
All right. Welcome this evening. My name's Marian, and my background is teaching. And as a teacher, I love to learn. So tonight, we're going to be learning about one of the most exciting new developments in health and science. It's redox signaling molecules. And to begin with, we're going to go and visit a website put on by a friend of ours, Alan. And he actually has two websites. One is realredoxresults.com, and the other one is the same, but biz at the end. The difference is that the results.com is focused on the fantastic experiences people are having in the redox world, how it's benefiting their lives. And the biz part is the same thing. We learn about redox, but when you have a fantastic breakthrough like this, there's a business opportunity. And it's telling about some of the people who, some came from rags and riches, some didn't have that problem, but just saw what they were visionaries. They saw what a big business move this could be. So today we're going to focus on the realresults.com. The password for both of them is Redox. So let's start.
Here we'd like to share with you the overview. And later you can come back and you can see on the left-hand side, there's lots of different types of issues that may be of interest to you that you can take a moment to look at. Let's see. I guess that is full screen.
My name is Alan Noble, and welcome to realredoxresults.com. On this website, you have access to lots of videos of real people sharing real results that they've experienced using ASEA's advanced redox signaling technology. You can simply browse through the videos or pick a particular subject that is important to you. However, if this is your first introduction to ASEA, then allow me to give you a brief overview so you can better understand why people are experiencing such amazing results. ASEA Redox represents a cutting-edge health and anti-aging technology, a new category in science that for 2 decades science had declared was impossible. A technology that many experts are calling the single greatest health science breakthrough of our lifetime. A great place to start is to get clear on what ASEA Redox is not. It is not a vitamin, a mineral, antioxidant, exotic juice, essential oil, or CBD oil. In fact, this technology goes beyond nutrition and ingredients, and yet can impact your health at a depth that no other supplement has ever come close to achieving. For many people, ASEA Redox is the missing link to better health and vitality. To grasp this breakthrough, you must understand that your body is the most complex communication network on Earth. Every second of every day, your cells pass tremendous amounts of important information throughout the body. Any breakdown in this communication, in this signaling, and you cannot achieve your full health potential. A simple example, your home goes on fire and you call the fire department. They have the fire truck, firefighters, fire hose, everything they need to put out the fire. However, if you don't have a good cell signal, they don't get the message and your home goes up in flames. Well, it's the same in your body. If your cells can't signal, then little else matters. ASEA Redox is the world's first redox signaling supplement that harnesses the power of the same redox signaling molecules that your body uses for this critical signaling process. This astonishing technology with 2 delivery systems, the ASEA Redox drink and the topical gel, Renew 28, has been validated by third-party independent science, and thanks to multiple patents, there is nothing else like it in the world. In a recent independent 8-week study with Torre Laboratories, a leading genetic research lab, it was found that drinking ASEA Redox could increase important gene signaling pathways by up to 31%, impacting 5 major areas of health: immune function, inflammatory response, cardiovascular and digestive health, as well as hormone balance. So at this point, let's take a listen to what health and medical professionals are saying about ASEA's redox signaling technology.
Inside every cell in your body, you're constantly producing negative and positive molecules called oxidants and reductants. And the contraction of that name is redox.
So with these molecules, we're amping up that communication. We're helping that cell signal.
Without these cell signaling molecules, we simply wouldn't do the gene replication that we need, the DNA sequencing that we need. These redox signaling molecules interact throughout the body with every cell that we know.
Every cell in our body needs these molecules for communication purposes. The more balanced they are, the more abundant they are, the healthier we are.
ASEA actually has the combination of the oxidants and the reductants that the body makes. So all we're doing with ASEA is enhancing what the body is already doing.
Having a product, a technology that's native to the body doesn't have to worry about detoxifying it because it knows exactly what to do with redox molecules. It's one of, if not the safest recommendation I ever make to a patient. They found a way to stabilize them outside the body. You can actually put them back into bodies that are deficient in those molecules. That's a game changer.
To have something that at its molecular level is native to the body is nothing short of a breakthrough. This is something that's foundational for health, for every cell. It affects every cell in our body. And not just the cells, but the very DNA within those cells. You know, we talk about the discovery of DNA as being a huge breakthrough, the discovery of penicillin. Yes, these were absolutely huge discoveries. But now we have something that actually goes even deeper.
Redox signaling molecules are like the DNA whisperer. They signal cells to be healthy. And because of age, because of medications, because of toxicity in the environment, you lose your ability to make the redox signaling molecules. So having them with ASEA simply replenishes what your body is doing natively when you were young. You know, I've been in the business for 40 years, and this is the first time that I've ever heard about the redox signaling molecules, which to me is a breakthrough of the 21st century, akin to the electric light bulb in the 20th century, and maybe even the discovery of penicillin. Because your body is a redox signaling program, and to be able to replenish it on a day-to-day basis, internally and externally, is not just a breakthrough, it's a game changer.
So as you can hear, ASEA Redox truly is being hailed as the most significant health science breakthrough of our lifetime. And it's not just health. Casual athletes all the way to Olympic athletes are experiencing improvements in endurance, strength, and recovery, beating personal bests and breaking documented world records. In a recent university study, mice drinking ASEA for only 7 days ran 29% further to exhaustion due to significant metabolic shifts as their body started to burn more fat as fuel. And I'm sure you've heard it said that seeing is believing. Well, this same technology, when applied to the skin, results in a healthy, clear complexion, tighter, younger looking skin, while dramatically reducing wrinkles, stretch marks, cellulite, and many other signs of aging, all while using the body's natural renewal processes. I want to thank you for taking some time and watching this brief overview. I would now encourage you to explore some of the other videos featuring people that I've had the pleasure of interviewing over the last year or so. Real people sharing real redox results. This is Alan Noble thanking you for your time today, and bye for now.
So thank you, Alan, for giving us the background that we need to understand a little bit about redox. This is me when I was 70, and my family and I are backpackers, hikers. My husband's a mountain man, and he's taught me to love the mountains. When I was 70, we were in the Sierras, and it wasn't fun. We were in high altitudes, and I just was gasping for breath. Even at night when I was sleeping, I felt like I didn't have enough air. And my body just didn't recover in the morning. So when I got up, I was still hurting. I was the last one of our group. And by the time I'd catch up with the group, they were ready to truck on. So I told my husband for the next one to take pictures. But you heard about the mouse who could go 29% further, and the athletes and how it helped them. So my husband says, well, let's just take some ASEA and see what happens. Oh my goodness. We went on the hardest hike we've ever been in the next year. It was also in the Sierras. We were rock climbing with packs, traversing large streams, and I did great and I loved it. So I am just so grateful that I get a few more years out there in the woods. I was out in the woods this summer with my dog, who's a big German Shepherd, and he had found another dog, and they were running around me like crazy, and I wasn't paying attention and fell. And unfortunately, when before I landed, as I landed, I hit a stick, and it poked a good one in by the corner of my eye. I made it home, put ASEA in my eye and put a washcloth over and just drowned it, and lay there for a while, and it stopped the bleeding. And later I went to the doctor, had to have some stitches and surgery. So 8 days later, when I had the stitches out, the doctor was amazed. My face had been so swollen and so bruised. And by June 18th, it was much, much healthier looking. And by the 26th, I was out camping again. Oh, and I was just mentioned the scar. That was the one thing that took a little longer because they had taken skin from the eyelid to cover the area. And that was tight and it bothered me actually a couple of months, but I'd put Renew 28 on it and it healed. The scar is not there now and it doesn't pull. It feels good.
This is a testimonial from Beth Wilford, who has a ranch with horses. And she said one time a colt came in the morning with a 4-inch long jagged wound, and it was already too late to stitch it up. And it was also too tender to apply the gel, so she just sprayed it with the Redox liquid several times a day and had no other treatment. And she took photos to show what happened at 24 hours, 5 days, 10 days, and 16 days, which is really amazing because it's a fraction of the time a wound like this really takes.
This is our friend Rosie. Oh my goodness. She began using ASEA, the drink, as well as Renew 28. And in 7 weeks, she went to her son and said, this isn't doing anything. But her son had taken pictures and he says, well, let's just look. And she says, oh, well, maybe I'll try it a little longer. So you can look at age 86, 87, and 91. This is giving her, she's going younger instead of older. And that's how I feel myself. So I'm giving cheers to Rosie and cheers to ASEA.
This is what my naturopath took pictures of my blood right when I had first started using the Redox. And then 3 months later, I went back in to see how it looked. On the right-hand side, she said that under the microscope that both of these pictures are the same magnification. But the small white dots were showing that I had, my adrenals were exhausted, and the larger white was showing that I had a lot of inflammation. And the color was really off. She was quite surprised to see the vibrancy and color that had come back, and also said that The little white lines were just showing that I was dehydrated because it was still early in the morning and I hadn't been drinking enough water yet. But there was quite a pronounced difference. So I looked forward to want to go back in 3 more months to see what the next changes will be. When I first started, or before I had Redox, I was having a lot of stress in my system. My lungs were weak and I was recovering from a surgery. After getting on the Redox, I have so much more stamina, much clearer thinking, and the pain was so minimized with my recovery, and my breathing is continuing to improve. Now I'd like to introduce you to Jerry White, who is our expert tonight, and was the head research physical therapist at Shriners Hospital, the founder of the Shriners Human Performance and Gait Analysis LAB, an adjunct professor of biomechanics and physiology, a swim and triathlon coach. He serves on the ASEA medical board as an ambassador of Diamond, and he's also a member of the Millionaires Club. So welcome to Jerry. Let's go ahead.
Thank you.
Share.
As we gather here, there are other aspects to what we do. And I was watching, well, actually, they didn't have the videos back when I first took a look at this. I had the opportunity to go in and really sit with the scientists who basically stabilized this so they could get it out to the community and to the world. And from my professional experience, I had never seen anything that would take the broad picture of how we responded to the world around us and how we were aging and the lifestyle, the stress, the environment, and what it had done to us over the years, and could turn on a dime, remembering progressively how it used to work when we were younger. I began to discover with the science of this that it was reawakening the ability to read and use the DNA in the way that you used to use it when you were young, and even back into the time when you were in embryo. And that the cells, all of them, have to replace themselves in cycles, or we would kind of fall apart real quickly. It's just that when you're young, they replace, like for skin, for example, in 14 days, a baby makes a brand new skin every 14 days. That's why it feels so fabulous. But as time goes on, even by the time you're 20, it takes twice as long to rebuild that skin. And we constantly move farther and farther away. So when you're 70s and 80s, it's about 120 days. That's what you saw with Rosie. But you also saw what happens when the external cells begin to start to remember to do what they used to in Rosie's condition. And then you saw some of the internal cells in Gloria's condition. That has implications across all the digestive effects, the circulatory effects, how we adapt to our world, and how we repair and replace the tissues. We've never seen anything like it. So once I saw that, I needed to kind of get validation from home. And so my wife said, get some and quit messing around. So I did. And we had a daughter that was very sick. She couldn't go to college, and she couldn't get off a couch. She had kissing disease. That'll lick all the red off your candy. Then she also had that really inflamed throat that you get when they give you all this stuff for it. But at the same time, she also had sinus infections. Holy smokes. I mean, she had to call a friend to roll over. Couldn't even open her eyes hardly. And we put her on this stuff, and within a day, she was up and walking to the mailbox. It was like huge. We didn't think she was going to go off to college. Within 2 days, 90% recovered, going to all of those parties you go to after you've graduated from high school and getting ready to go to school. And we went down to the high Sierras for a family reunion on the way to Phoenix, which was it was 1,000, 1,200 miles away from us. And she went off of this stuff for about 6 hours and was flat on her face again. Tried it again, 6 hours later, up and rolling. I was so convinced that this was something I started using it athletically. It was a huge change. My wife started using it, and when she had lung conditions, where she was trying to do triathlons and did the swimming great and fabulous. In the running, I mean, the bicycling was pretty darn good. She was up there #1. But when it came to the run, it was just, she couldn't even make it a block before her lungs would start to lock up, and you could hear the whistling. She had lots of 3 or 4 bouts a year of real severe lung problems. And pretty soon she got better and better, and just consuming it. At that time, we didn't know you could breathe it. We didn't know you could put it in your eyes. And now she's 63 years old. This is 8 years later. And this year she completed the full 140-mile Ironman competition with a 26-mile marathon at the end of. It's like, what on earth? Another one that's very interesting is how the eyes changed for her. For 20 years, she was had to have glasses in the picture for her driver's license. About 6 months before, somebody had told her, if you put these drops in your eyes will begin to start to rebuild themselves like they were younger. Surprising thing was, after 20 years of having driver's license picture with glasses, she can now have driver's license picture without glasses, because she sees better now than she did 25 years ago. This is really remarkable. So as we began to try it, we didn't have 2 nickels to rub together at the time. We actually had to borrow the $100 from our sponsor to get the first case that we got, $130. But it changed us so dramatically that we decided to do what we offer to everybody. Some people just want the information. You know what? There's something new on the horizon that can work with things that we don't normally do very well. That's lifestyle, stress, environment. But the cells have to adapt to all of that stuff. And now they were adapting in hundreds and thousands of ways. And some people really just want the information. Others want to do something about that information. They want to order stuff, get some, try it. If you went through each of the people that are on this call, they've had remarkable experiences. And so it becomes sort of a group of the willing. We're really out trying to get this word to the world. So they say, here's the thing. So if you really want it and you're getting it out to other people, we'll give you a little stipend for doing that. We'll get it. You sell something to somebody and you can get some back. $25 for a case of it. And a little bit here, a little bit there can make a huge difference in some people's lives. And so that's available for anybody that wants to do it. Then there's another one where we develop, we start to learn how to operate. We found out that 85% of the population would like to do something different, something maybe that makes a bigger difference in the world, something where you can work around other people that you really like, making a difference because you want to. And putting together a strategy that teaches you how the economics of the world are changing. We're probably all going to live longer than our money usually. Well, now what we've been able to do is to figure out a way to get so efficient at getting this information out that in our family, for example, one of the biggest turnarounds of all was 25 years ago, I hand built a 3,000 square foot log house on 60 acres out just north of Spokane. We got a little year-round stream that has trout in it. We sit at the base of the ski mountain and we had to walk away from it. 16 years before we went back to look at it when it was up for sale. When it was up for sale, we went back and the well problem was fixed. We only had 2 to 3 gallons of water a minute when we left. They dug a new well about 25 yards away and they had 250 gallons of water a minute. They had put in horse barns. They had put in a big shop. They'd put in a swimming pool. They put in a barn for the tractor. They put in all this fancy rock work and chimneys and all that sort of stuff. It was a doctor and he went all out. He loved the place. So we got to take advantage of something that this group, I want to pass on to this group. The ability to be so done with money that when that opportunity came along, we turned around and bought our place back after 16 years. And when our family, my son came back and he had kind of wandered away, the moment he walked through that door, it ignited so many memories of who he really was. Is the greatest purchase of our life was to put back what we always put our heart and soul into in the first place. And that's by what we know is that this is going to radically change the footprint. And so we've done a couple things. Somebody who enrolls with us for $40 can buy worldwide distribution rights. We're in 33 different countries right now. We teach each other to band together and use the strengths of each of the individuals. And this group is doing it in spades. And you saw tonight, people who are putting on these things who haven't been involved for more than a couple of months. Imagine as we spread this concept, well, in our family, it's been over 75,000 people around the world that begun to work toward the ethos of putting people and principles above ego and economic. And yet it's so efficient at producing income that we were in really dire straits when we first looked at this. Like I had to borrow money to even drive across town to do a presentation. I had to borrow $10 to put gas in the car. We were downsizing. We were in real significant problems. And today, 9 years later, I would have to work for 17 years as a physical therapist and running my laboratory and teaching at the university to make what I made last year. Just making a difference and teaching people they matter. So we have all those doors and opportunities available when you buy the products. One thing that people don't realize is that we can't really go out and say this will diagnose and treat and cure and heal all these sorts of things. According to the FDA, when you fit in the category that we finally fell into, there's never been anybody in our category. So they put us in the one called supplements. Now, supplements are normally something that you take to refill. This is actually something you're refilling that the body was making itself before it started getting tired and stopped doing it. And when it puts that back in, it's like the contractor that knows how to put the whole thing together. So we leave the door open and we say, somebody's going to take it. Somebody's going to take it to the world. It's probably one of the greatest discoveries. We call it the biggest discovery since human DNA and antibiotics. So we want to leave the door wide open. And we know people like Rowdy here. Well, no, wait, her name is Rhoda, but we just renamed her Rowdy because she gets all kinds of carried away. And we have, Ruth, who has absolutely blossomed and started to come into some of these amazing personality traits that sometimes got so hidden just because life was so heavy. And Gloria from way back. Gloria is destined to be as big as they get in making this huge difference. But no, it's a whole lot better to travel together on the journey of life. And so we do that, and Marian's done such a nice job of pulling it all together. So, Darlene, we welcome you, Rowdy Rhoda. We look forward to some pretty crazy times. She's going to be in charge of our fun and games. Mary Kidder is a nurse who had to leave the profession for loss of memory and multiple other things, and has now bounced back. We have another nurse on your team who is from the island of Fiji. So imagine this group is already reaching over to the island of Fiji. She's now down in Sacramento. Now she has, you ought to, every one of you should give yourself a treat and go with me down to that group in Sacramento. They'll sing the national anthem as a group for me. They'll sing hymns right in the front with everybody in the population doing it. And man, when they sing their national anthem, it's like nothing you've ever seen before. So just imagine us all gathering together and making such a big difference in the world that people invite you to stay with them when you go there. And sometimes we have to go to the island of Fiji, aw shucks, just to work with the people we're working with. So we'll leave the door wide open. And for any one of you who want to play at any level, we're very welcome to have you here and very grateful for it. So I'm going to pass this back to our current and fascinating growing leadership with this other team. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Jerry.
We want to make sure that you're aware that we have a special guest speaker coming on Wednesday at 3 o'clock, who will be Marsha White. So I will make sure that the Zoom link gets out to you, and we would love to have you show up there and invite any guests that you'd like to bring as well.
Now, this is that famous lady who finally did the Ironman, but she is an ultimate strategist. Prepare yourselves. Because if you ever come to our house and we're in board games, it's going to be hair, hide, guts, and feathers. She has got to win, but she teaches the strategies of how to do this whole game. So you're going to love being there with that.
Thank you all.
Questions or comments? Yeah.
Yes.